Calling to order the meeting of the Littleton Historical Commission, August 13th, 2025. I think we'll start with welcoming our two new official members, which is great, Elizabeth and Chris.
Thank you.
Welcome. And then as we have discussed, Chris is going to take over being clerk.
Yep.
And he's going to do it with AI, which is very interesting. And in a little while, we'll do some other projects first, but then we'll go back to the minutes from last week and people can talk about them. I sent them out for your review. So I think we'll start with 12 Robinson Road. There's two items. One is reviewing the last draft of the letter to homeowners. Did everyone get a chance to look at those? That letter? Well, it's here. I have copies. You guys need copies?
Actually, my printer was,
What?
my printer was giving me a hard
Okay,
time.
so here. There's some copies. I'll give you a little background on this for the two new members. Rachel, do you want
No.
to have it? Okay. So briefly, there's lots of details, but there's an old structure, an old building at 12 Robinson Road from, we believe, 1750, even though previously they thought it was 16 something, but it's really from 1750. We had an expert come in and do a dendrochronology study and date it. A couple of years ago, maybe more than that now, someone in town, a developer who lives here, who's lived here a long time, forever, he bought it and he wanted to sell them, renovate it, and sell it. So because that building was bought with community preservation funds, they had to keep the historic preservation, certain historic features had to be preserved. So we worked with the developer to identify and make sure that certain features were preserved. And it was a long process. It was a couple of years. It's a house and a barn. And they finished it, I don't know, a few months ago, and one unit sold and one unit is still owned by the developer. He's renting it out. So, there is a preservation restriction on that building, which is a pretty long legal document that spells out what's being preserved historically. And this commission is charged legally with enforcing that preservation restriction. So what we wanted so we will have annual inspections at a minimum, but what we wanted to do up front now was send out a letter to the homeowners to remind them that there is a historic preservation restriction so that they don't go ahead and take out what's supposed to be preserved. So that's what we're reviewing right now. So the letter's a little different than last time because we thought both units were sold. Turns out I did speak to Joe Catala, the developer, and he said, he confirmed he still owns one of them and he's renting it out. So, and there's no homeowners association yet. They haven't set it up yet. He said he'll let us know when they do. So the letter's a little different than it was because of those things. So I'll give you a minute to take a look at it.
Now, since Joe will continue to own one of the units, this meeting with the residents is just one.
Right. It's a meeting with the new owner, and it would be with Joe because he's an owner. I ran this by Shanti. She's our consultant. She's been a historic preservationist for many years, and she's been great working with us. I asked her, I asked that question. Should we even bother with this because there's only one new homeowner? She said, well, it's a new relationship with Joe. because he's now renting it out. He's not just the developer, he's the owner and he's renting it out. And he, as owner, he needs to abide by the preservation restriction. So it's really for the new owner, but, you know, we can discuss it. If you don't think we should do this, we don't, you know, we don't have to,
We should.
yeah.
I think we should do it. I'm not sure that Joe has to. I mean, since we spent a lot of time negotiating this whole thing with Joe anyway, do we really need to have him on the?
I think he should, because he is the new owner. He will probably be part of the homeowners association. And it's a different role for him, so.
And if the other homeowner has any questions, they might go, like, it'd just be easier to say everything. Then there's no mixed, you
Okay,
know, like,
Confusion.
yeah,
Mixed messages.
right, where if the new homeowner misconstrues something and then that, you know, it's easier to like say it to everyone gets the message. I think it's a good thing.
okay.
But it's a good point.
Right, he should know it pretty well inside and out, but it doesn't.
Speaking of, we mentioned this at some point in the past. And we weren't 100% happy with the way Joe did everything, but in the end, we were reasonably happy with the way it all turned out. And there was some talk of maybe giving him a historic preservation award or something like that.
Yeah, let's get back to that. Let's do the letter first.
Oh, I was just thinking it might be the occasion to do it.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. All right,
And we have time to talk
Sure,
about that.
fine.
Okay.
oh, I hate to do this, Linda, but
What?
this next to the last sentence, you say, you hope you enjoy your new home and look forward to collaborating to preserve their historic character. Should be its historic character, right? Cause.
Yeah, I changed it from homes to home.
Oh. I
Yeah,
see.
no, you're right.
Yeah, that could
No.
happen, of course, you know.
Right.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
Okay, otherwise, fine. As far as I'm concerned, it's fine.
Any thoughts? Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Thanks, Ed. Any thoughts, changes, revisions, concerns?
No,
Based on what I know, it looks good to me.
Huh?
Based on what I know, it looks good to me.
Rachel?
Yeah, that's.
Okay. So, I don't think we need to vote on it. I don't think so, do we? We could. Huh? All right. So,
I move we approve the letter that Linda wrote to the owners of the 12 Robinson Road home.
have a second,
Second.
all in favor?
I'm,
Okay.
just in case we needed it.
Just in case we, yeah. So if you remember, I did, and everyone agreed that I'll run it by town council first.
Mhm.
Because this is a legal process, so we want to make sure this is okay. So I'll run it by them first. Okay, great. So the second,
I suppose strictly speaking, you don't have to do that, but.
I probably don't, but because it's a preservation restriction, it's a legal document. I just want to make sure, not that the letter is, but
Yeah.
I just want to make
Okay,
sure
yeah.
that it's okay.
Yeah.
I'd feel better.
Okay.
The second thing is the sign, the house sign. Do you have anything?
so I was working on the other one, the
Yeah.
Kimball one, and I'm
I'm sorry, which one?
Kimball, the Benjamin and Mary Kimball.
Yeah, that's the same house.
Oh, that's the same one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'm almost done with it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just not ready to show. I do have two other ones that I can show you. One, we could do it after or whatever, but one from my barn, which shows the old type of wood that like is sort of already deteriorating, and a new one that I just finished.
And our sign would look like the new one?
Yeah.
So can you show us now?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolyn, what are you, anybody, what are your thoughts? We're calling it, whatever we're calling it, the mayor,
So this
what's,
first one
what's
is
the name of it?
This first one is the one from,
Benjamin and Mary Kimball. It's in the, I think Macris calls it the Baker House.
Yeah, I think the initial one said Baker House.
Yeah, but we had a hard time getting back to the paper.
No, I know that, but there's a contradiction with Macris. I guess we can revise Macris.
Revise Macris.
Yes, okay.
So this is your,
so that's the one that, yeah, we did it like, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, and
I hold it.
looks good.
but you can see that the edges are starting to crack and peel.
This is the old one?
That's the one that from like 4 or 5 years ago.
You didn't do this one or you did?
No, I did not.
I like this.
No, it's great, but if you look at the edges,
Yeah.
you start to see it cracking, and that's when the water gets in and it starts to
Mm.
peel and starts to really go downhill quickly after that.
Okay. What is that made of?
So that's made of, I feel like it's called MDO or something, so it's like, almost like plywood, but very paintable plywood. But it just doesn't hold up for the long term. So the one that I'm making for this house is cedar. Like not plywood, it's like, hardwood. The one that I just finished is actually PVC. I know you guys don't want that, but you can see the lettering and everything is similar to what we have there. So if you,
So that's fine, that looks bigger to me, is that correct?
it's a little bit bigger just because of the,
Thank you. Sorry.
No, totally fine.
yeah, the cedar one's thicker and it's a little bit smaller in size, but it's the same, it's generally the same size. It's like
Okay.
maybe like a ½ inch smaller.
Okay, and that's what we asked for was that size, right? Or,
Yeah, it's generally, it's between that one and that one,
Okay.
so it's just a
Okay.
little smaller based on what I could get.
all right, yeah. I mean, I like the lettering on that one.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
You like the lettering on that one?
Thanks.
You like that, Carolyn? What do you think? You like it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, it's good.
Not to quibble, but
Yeah,
the whites, are they gonna be more the cream or the bright white?
The cream one is like the sign enamel that I got, and then
Okay.
it's, I could make it whiter if you want, but yeah, it's,
Mine,
yeah,
curious.
the preference, I don't know.
yeah, but it's got a clear coat.
Only you can tell when you look at them next.
It won't,
Yeah,
it won't fade or anything like that.
Oh,
Great, well, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, no problem.
It's good to us. Good. Okay,
It'll be ready for the next meeting.
no problem, no problem. That was good that you showed us those, so we have
Yeah.
sense of what it looked like,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so on Durkee, I don't have any updates. I asked Bartlett and he said he doesn't have any updates. Just so you guys know, the Durkee farmhouse is now owned by the Littleton Affordable Trust.
They may not even know where it is. So.
Yeah, right, well, they call it Foster Street, but it's kind of, doesn't seem like it's on Foster Street. It's kind
It's
of,
the one across, it's the old house across the street from the railway station.
okay.
You know, there's that big development there,
Mhm.
but the house that's right in front, closest to the railway station, is the building we're talking about
Gotcha.
now.
Is the frontage Grimes? Grimes Lane?
No, I think, as Linda said, I think the address is actually Foster
I
Street.
thought it was Grimes Lane, but it's not, it's Foster Street.
It is weird because the front door is on Grimes Lane.
I see. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
That is really weird.
So anyway, the Affordable Housing Trust owns it. They bought it, I don't know when, fairly recently. They're gonna put affordable housing units on it. At some point, sort of initially, we thought that we would do a collaboration with Historic Preservation on that house. As the Affordable Housing Trust is moving forward with assistance from a housing nonprofit for affordable housing. I think it's looking dimmer that we're gonna do historic preservation because of cost. So we'll see. Maybe we can keep the facade. It's all, it's their decision. We understand it's their decision. They have to do what they can afford. So, the door isn't closed, but it's not gonna be quite what we had hoped probably. But we'll see as things go forward.
Are they still talking about selling it or are they?
Yes, well, yeah, I don't think they know what they're doing. Yes, they're still talking about selling it. It's unclear to me now whether the barn will be sold with the house, unclear to me. So they don't have the RFP in hand. When they do have an RFP, they will share it with us, a draft RFP. For, some company to manage or some nonprofit to manage the affordable, building the affordable housing, all that. The Orchard buildings, I spoke with Shanti or texted with Shanti. She's working on the Macris forms, or might just be one, and she's starting to work on the preservation restriction. So at the Orchard, the Dogville Orchard, there's 3 buildings. There's the main house, there's the upper barn, which is the big brown barn, and then there's the lower barn. The lower barn's pretty nice looking outside, and we went inside. It was fun to see all the stuff in there, all the old machinery and stuff. It turns out that lower barn is actually on Macris already, which I didn't realize, but Shanti pointed that out to me. I checked it. She's right. It's already there, so that's good. Macris? Yeah, do you know what Macris is? Macris is the Massachusetts, what's the name?
Cultural Resource Inventory.
MA.
Yes, okay,
Cultural Resources, Information System,
Something like that, yeah.
something like that. Right, so you know what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, so we have something like 370 plus or something buildings from Littleton in Macris. We often use, if we want to put some, like a preservation restriction or promote preservation of a building, we often say, well, it's in Macris, so it is historically significant. So that's one of the ways that we indicate historical significance. So, the lower barn is already in Macris. The upper barn needs to be put in Macris, and our consultant Shanti is writing up a form to get it into Macris. The house, she wrote up a form a few months ago, so that's in Macris now.
Maybe we should step back a minute and.
Yeah.
Because those of us who are on the commission for a long time are all familiar with all this stuff. You may not be, I'm not sure, maybe you are. But sort of all this technical kind of stuff. Massachusetts has a system for deciding that houses are significant, that properties, structures, I think would be the best way, but are historically significant. And they have these inventory forms that are filled out by historical commissions. At one time, I can remember this when I was first on a historical commission in another town back in the 70s, maybe. The historical commissioners used to do this themselves. Now, everything, it's become a big deal and everybody's much more trained and so on. So all these forms are typically filled out by consultants who are experts in the historic preservation field. They come out of the Massachusetts Historical Commission and they're sent back when they're filled out to the Massachusetts Historical Commission, which then puts them on, which then logs them in and so on and puts them online. And so the online version then is called Macris, the Massachusetts, whatever it is. So I'll get that,
information.
Research, that's right. Research.
And so they're available to anybody to look up, and you can look them up in various kind of ways, which makes it easy when you're trying to find something to find these, and also indicates the historical features. And now they're, with the exception of a few forms that were filled out in ancient times when amateurs were still doing this, they tend to be quite complete and detailed and very precise and all this. And some of them are really filled out as 12 Robinson Road because we were interested in doing various things with it. Was done in great detail, and if you go and look at that form, I mean, it's really very, very complete, as a few of the others are. Some of them are very, very incomplete. Most of them are pretty good at this point because we've had, most of them have now been done by historic preservation professionals, and so they're in good shape. And you should, familiarize yourself with this system. I mean, just go to, to the internet and type in Macris, and you'll get this form, and then you find the town, and
There's also Macris maps, which is actually
Okay.
quite nice. So you can see, so like when you go into Macris, if you haven't used it before, it's not necessarily always intuitive. It has a lot,
They had direct links that I worked with in
Yeah.
my old job from the town website.
Right.
So I never worked with like the
when
full
you go to
website.
that, like it's not, like it's fine, but
Yeah.
you'll get the hang of it. I will say I do kind of prefer Macris maps, to be honest, because you go there and you pull up the town and then there's blue dots for every house that's on there, so you don't necessarily have to know
Very
what
cool.
number is there. You can, if you know what street it's on, you can kind of know the area, and you can see what other houses are there. You can see like, we talk a lot about possibly doing a historic district with Foster Street, and you can see how many houses on Foster Street are there, or like, in a certain neighborhood, so that can influence where we might do a district or something like that. So sometimes it's just easier to kind of like look on maps, and you can pull it up and then you can just kind of see, all the blue dots. And then there's like red dots, I think, for like monuments. And so there are some other categories that they do put in there. So I highly recommend the maps.
Thank you.
It's a little bit easier to use compared to like the Macris site itself.
But if you want information on one particular property, you probably have to go into the
Can you
Yeah.
inventory.
Yes, you
Right.
can dot and it
Oh,
pulls
does
up.
it pull it up?
Yeah, so
Ah.
like it pulls it up and then you just would click on the link and then it will take you to
Oh.
Macris. And yeah, so you can see the picture, and so it's kind of, if you're like, it's on a street, but you don't know the number, you can go to the street. And then you can kind of click a few of the dots and be like, well, which one is it? And then it'll show you the picture, and it's a little bit easier to use.
Perfect. Thank you.
So you probably know this is part of the broader effort at the Orchard. There's an agricultural preservation restriction at the Orchard. There's somebody leasing it. He's doing different kinds of work, container farming and preserving some of the trees. And he seems to be, sensitive about the ecology. However, these buildings are not part of the APR.
Okay.
And that's why we're pursuing preservation restrictions to preserve the buildings so that they can't be demolished. So, that's that. Historic marker plaque updates.
Guess what?
What?
I actually have an update.
Go ahead.
I finally decided to start getting down, now that we have Chris, who's gonna be able to do some of these plaques.
You mean the signs, house signs?
House signs.
Okay.
I call them plaques, I don't know, plaques, signs, whatever. Anyway, so I just started this, I haven't got a response yet, but the first one was, or the first one we had pending is the one from, the next to our 12 Robinson Road is 22 Robinson Road, which is, what's their names?
Yates. Jeff.
Yeah, Yates, yeah.
Laura.
Yates, the Laura and,
Yeah,
whatever her name, Jeff Yates, he's on that planning board. We had been in touch, ages ago, and now we're back. I mean, with the help of Macris and so on, I got all the information. I sent it back to them and suggested a wording for the plaque, which is the way I usually do it, and, suggested a wording for the plaque, and so asked them if they'd be interested, so So that should, so it should be going along, and then I will, get in touch with I'm sort of having to find out, with all of them, I have to figure out what the number is and so on. That house that's across the street opposite from me on, King Street, next to across the street from the society, is that building that goes way downhill and, has that lot that goes way downhill next to the, whatchamacallit,
Mason?
Masons, next to the Masons, there's that building there. They had expressed some interest in having a plaque, so I'm gonna get in touch with them and see whether they remain interested and see what we do. So we're gonna move along with that is,
Right.
and maybe there was one, forget. Anyway, so now that we have somebody to do the plaques, it makes sense to start pursuing again. And so I will go ahead and do.
And you're happy to do these signs?
Happy to do it.
You are, okay.
I just can't vote on them.
What?
I just can't vote on
Oh, right, that's right. That's right. We did discuss that, right?
them.
And you filed your form, right.
Okay,
So in terms of bronze plaques, which, so I call his stuff house signs and these bronze plaques.
Okay.
But anyway, we can go on, so we don't confuse them. So what we did over the past few months, maybe it's more than a few months now, we looked at, there's plaques throughout town, about 20 of them, maybe, I don't know. Bronze plaques, and they're on concrete marker, like 3 foot, 4 foot concrete marker, probably 3 feet concrete markers. Some of them are in bad shape. You can hardly read them, you can't read them. And some of them are still in good shape. Some of them are actually wood, some of them are bronze, originally. So we identified the ones that are in bad shape and we decided to replace some of them. So we've replaced one so far at the Common. That's the, what house?
It was the meeting house.
The meeting house,
Meeting.
right, so that one's replaced. It looks good.
it's on the side of the Common, as next to CVS.
Hmm.
So there's a new plaque there and it's, finally, it was a mess, it was awful looking. And now it looks great and it should last forever.
The only thing is it doesn't face the Common part, it faces the street, which is weird. If we thought of it, maybe we could have had it face Common, but we didn't, anyway. It's okay, nobody uses that, so you can walk on the street and look at it. So we also ordered 4 more plaques, which have come in.
Huh?
There were 6 plaques ordered, well, 2 of them are on hold, and I'll tell you why in a minute, which we discussed a little bit already. 4 of them came in.
Huh?
They look good.
Great.
I gave them to the Department of Public Works, who has agreed to install them for us, which is great. It's very nice of them to do that. So they're gonna replace these 4 plaques. So the ones they're gonna replace that we got in are West Schoolhouse, East Schoolhouse, Lawrence Tavern, and Warren's Gristmill. Warren's Gristmill is at Harley Lumber. That's, everyone refers to that, but it's called the Warren's Gristmill. So,
And did we figure out where that thing is gonna go?
no, I sent out in one of my emails to you guys, let's do a site visit before our August 13th meeting. I didn't hear from anyone.
I'm sorry.
So maybe, not all of us have to go, if you don't want to. Even if just 2 of us go, I don't want to make the decision myself. So if even one person wants to come and see, sorry. The problem with this one, I mean, the plaque itself looks bad, but the
Do
concrete.
you know where it is?
Harley Lumber, it's on the corner of Warren Street
And Mill Road.
and Mill
Okay.
Road. It's near 495, it's almost like
Yep.
Ryland.
So
but
it's when they put 495 in, they bisected Mill Road, so
Yep.
they cut it, so there's two
Yep.
Mill Roads, so.
Yep, I found that out running one day. I was like,
Ah.
where am I?
I used to run there sometimes. So.
It's like the hairpin turn.
Gotcha.
The Eppington, yes, yes.
Yeah, I drive by there when I don't want to take a left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I drive by there.
Yeah, so the plaque itself was bad, so we're replacing the plaque. We have a nice new one. The concrete marker that it's on is in bad shape. It's in bushes. You can't even see the marker, the concrete marker. It's in the bushes. It also seems to be smaller than any of the other concrete markers we have, and it's in a really bad location in the bushes. So we want to order a new concrete marker to put the plaque on and move the marker somewhere where it's visible. I drove by it recently. I didn't stop, but I thought, that looks like it might be the only spot that makes sense to put it. But I don't want to make that determination. I want other input from at least one other person where we should put it. So if you want to, do a site visit together, we could do it, or if you want to just look at it individually, we can identify where we might want to put it. Now, we will have to ask, I believe, we will probably ask the water department if we can put it there because they're in charge of that site right now.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't think they'll have a problem with it, I hope, because we don't want to leave it where it is. So,
and then will we have to get a new
Martha.
concrete?
Yes, and now I will, once we decide where we want it, I will talk to the DPW, ask them what they recommend. Maybe we'll ask Middlesex Materials if they'll donate it, or we could pay for it. Or maybe DPW has another idea where we could get one. I think Donna wanted a granite markers, which I think are super expensive. I don't know if we can go that route. So what do you think about figuring out, how are we gonna figure out where we want it?
I'll be happy to visit it. I mean, I could visit it with you if it's sometime when I have the time, which these days tends to be most of the
Yeah.
time. So.
Yeah, all right, and I know you're very busy. Do you wanna look at it or? what do
I
you
mean,
think?
it's the road I live on, like I know it
Oh,
very
right,
well.
yes, you do.
So you can, if you guys go and look at it, like
Take
I'll know what
pictures?
you're talking, yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll take pictures.
Yeah.
You guys interested?
I'll drive by and I can, on the next meeting night, if I hook up to like that thing, I can bring it up on Street View and we can sort of see.
Okay.
Yeah.
It should have a pretty recent.
Okay,
Are there any restrictions for this type of thing as far as where it can go or how far away from a building or the street or any?
that's a good question.
I don't know that those necessarily have been developed in the
Okay.
town yet,
Probably
like, and
It's a good question.
I know, we're being, but like. I feel like whenever we put up sign, like the. What's the one that we did, quarantine station. Usually they
Yeah.
just replace like where they've been, so I mean, there was
That one's right
one.
across the street from where I live. So that one I know.
Yeah, so, and that one's like a great one, that was, I think that one just replaced where one had already, like, so that tends to be like, if there's a
Sure.
precedent set that one was already there. It stands to reason that because I don't think we've ever, I don't know that there's any legislation in the town that says like, it can't be within blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Maybe we've just never asked.
I'm guessing they were done, originally they were done a long time ago. When the
Right.
first one's done, most of
But it's
these,
replacing something that's already existing.
but we're gonna move it a little bit.
And
That's why she's asking, I
right,
think.
right. No, I get that.
But the other thing is that most of them, or a lot of them at least, are not actually near buildings the way some of
Yeah, I
them,
mean,
well, some of them are, I guess.
yeah, but I don't know that we have like, it has to be like a setback of a certain amount, like, I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know that any of us know if there's ever been that.
I could ask Jim Dugan,
Yeah.
just so we check in with somebody to ask that
I
question.
mean, I don't want to open up an unnecessary
Right.
can of worms, but.
I don't think there.
Well, you probably wouldn't want it too close to the road because then you risk
Yes, I think like a
the
reasonable
plows.
back of like, if we ask DPW of like what's
Yeah.
their, what kind of setback, like, And that could be taken into consideration, like not putting it any closer to the road than what the current one is, or, you know, things like that, but I don't. And again, I think we've never crossed this road of like, is there language written up somewhere? Maybe it is, maybe DPW does have something, sure, we don't know.
I
Probably
don't
not.
think so.
Probably not, it's not like we do this all the time, so it's also like, these are these very.
One-off, kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
But that's a good question. I will ask DPW and get their input and,
yeah,
yeah,
right, it's also like. We also don't want. Them
right.
to start paying attention.
Yeah, there's that one that was knocked over,
Nagog,
Nagon
Right,
Hill
yeah.
Road or something.
that one definitely is, yeah.
So that one, I also have, that one's on hold, but I did order it from them. It's on hold because I wanted to make sure, oh wait, I know why. That one's on hold because I wanted to get to get the Neshoba tribe input on the language. I've asked him about 3 times, Dan, who's our liaison, and I haven't heard back from him. So do you think we just go ahead with this language, or should I ask him again?
I can send them a message.
Okay,
I was at the commission meeting and
yeah,
they want to get it done.
yeah,
I'll just say, if you don't hear it from you in a couple weeks, they're just gonna send it in.
yeah, because I did ask him, I think 3 times. So,
I think
okay,
We said
What?
like, by this date, we're sending it out on this date.
yeah.
If you don't,
So what date should we pick?
By your next meeting.
yeah,
Sure, September 10th, I think is our
And
next
that's,
meeting.
yeah,
Okay, that's good. So, you know, the Neshoba some of the Neshoba Indians live in town now, at least one. So we would like their input on the wording because it's older wording that was developed 20 years ago. And if they wanted to say something else, we would like to incorporate that. Okay, so you and do you guys want to go look at the Farley lumber one, or are you gonna go look
go.
and you?
I can drive by it too.
Okay, all right. So when you'll come next meeting, you can come with some sort of visual
Yeah.
that we could look at. Okay. All right.
See if you can find the exist.
Oh, that's the other one. I'm sorry. I got waylaid here. Yes, there's this Neshoba Praying Indian Town plaque goes on a concrete marker that fell down and buried in dirt and brush, and no one could find it. So we thought we might have to order a new marker for that one. But DPW found it and they said they put it up. So we should, we need to find it so we can.
well, you can see it right when you drive up, it's
Is it?
right on the point.
So tell me so there's 2 places where Neshoba Road and Nagog Hill Road meet.
It's up by, the Chinese church.
It's right near there across the street.
Yep,
Okay.
listen, still Newtown Road, it's on the corner of Newtown Road and Nagog.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Maybe that was my problem. I was looking for Nagog and, whatever.
Mhm.
All right, so it's near the Chinese church. All right, so you've seen it. It's
Yes,
up?
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
All right.
yeah.
I bet DPW will just tell you to move it back a little bit off the street so the plows don't get it.
well, they're the ones who put it up.
Yeah, so they'll put it back far enough for their own purposes.
Yeah, it's kind of up a little bit.
Yeah, and the parlay one.
Soup.
Oh, the parlor one, yeah, right,
Or,
right.
yeah, sorry, no, Newtown and Neshoba Road.
Newton and
Neshoba
Neshoba,
Road's the corner, is that like,
Yeah.
that's what I was looking for at Nagog Hill Road. That's
Yeah.
why, that was my problem. Like, where is this thing? Okay, all right. So if you and I want to go together, we can,
Yeah,
so,
give me a ring
all
sometime.
right.
I'm mostly around.
Me too. Okay. So, I think it was last meeting, maybe the meeting before, Carolyn had brought up possibly applying for a state grant for more additional properties to survey additional historic properties in town. The deadline was November for a letter of intent. And then sometime,
March or something.
March for the actual. So in the past, we've always missed the deadlines, but now we have a little notice, so, this, if people want, we can pursue this. If we think it's a good idea. I mean, it's always a good idea to survey properties,
Well, one thing is, when Jen Doherty finished the last of the survey things that she did, she recommended actually that we not continue with doing surveys, but that, I shouldn't say this, but that we should really start work on a historic district.
did she say that?
Yes, she did,
I don't
in
know
her
that.
report.
We want your input on that topic.
The report that she wrote
Really?
when she finished the work that she did for us. It's probably somewhere in our files, but I don't know where we have files.
Yeah, we probably have that. I think I have that report. I thought she said something, and maybe that's what you're thinking of, historic district. She said something about the lake properties.
Well, there was some discussion about the Long Lake area. And as I remember, her thoughts on that were that we try and figure out some way to do that would not be a traditional, individual house survey. Now, you folks all know about Long Lake and the Long Lake area. Okay, you do. I mean, I go there every day for swimming these days in the summertime. It's wonderful. But I think she's right. And I mean, the idea was that, there's a mixture, there's a real hodgepodge of different buildings there, and you wouldn't think of any one or even grouping of buildings that deserves its own form, but in some way or other, some kind of, I mean, at least I think that was the idea, was that some kind of a survey of the sort of general way that was developed and so on. And I think she also suggested that maybe we think about the whatchamacallit, the development on the hill there. What's it called again? Now you see, that's why we need younger members.
I don't remember development on the hills. Anyone? That ring a bell?
Baldwin Hill.
Baldwin Hill, yeah.
Oh,
That she just suggested that we think of,
Yeah,
I knew it was an apple and I kept turning. That was a sort of development that was a new kind of thing when somebody decided to develop that in the, Carol, 60s, whether.
I think, yeah, fifties and sixties, there's a couple of them around town.
That might be something that we might want to survey, but again, in both cases, if, I'm trying to remember them into something that I haven't looked at for many years, but I think her idea was that in both of these cases, these were important historical
Neighborhoods.
Development.
Neighborhood survey.
yeah,
of
maybe,
some kind,
yes.
but it doesn't fit into the usual categories that the Mass, Historical Commission forms, put you into
Right.
the boxes that they.
So this is my suggestion. I think I can find that report. Why don't I send it out to everybody so we refresh our memories about what Jen suggested? And then we can think about, if we want to pursue survey work, we can think about how we want to pursue it and think about a letter of intent if we decide we want to do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds good.
all right.
So, again, for those of you who don't remember her, Jen Doherty is somebody who's worked on and off in for private agencies and for the public. She was at one point the local director or something at the Mass Historical Commission, a local liaison or something for Mass Historical Commission, liaison with the local historical commissions. And she also did a lot of survey work for us before that. Now she's back in the private sector as a private, consultant, but she's very knowledgeable about historic preservation in Massachusetts. And, when she finished doing work for us, you know, we hired her for a couple of occasions, you know, and said, okay, you can do 40 properties or something like that, and she did a whole bunch of them, and then when she finished, she wrote up this final report, and I'm trying to, you know, what I'm saying now is I'm trying to remember what it was that she says, and as I remember, I mean, the things I remember was that she said she did not recommend that we continue to do individual house surveys, but suggested that we look into doing you know, a historic district. That was something that certainly could be something that the town would want to do. And also that maybe, this was something that she wasn't sure how to do it. I think even she wasn't sure what to do here, but some kind of survey that would be a different sort of thing for the Long Lake District and again, for the Baldwin Hill area. I don't know if you know where that is, but you know, there's a Baldwin Hill Road and it's houses leading off, you know, streets leading off of that as it goes up the hill there, and then of course the whole Long Lake area, which was developed in the 20s as a resort, you know, community. And there's still a few, I think there's, you know, as I drive around it, there's still a few of those those old buildings left. And then there's a whole bunch of new ones that has either added on a lot to those old ones or tore them down and built new ones. The lots are very tiny, so it's hard to squeeze them in, but they have them there. Anyway.
Okay, so I will try to find that report. I think I've seen it fairly recently and I'll send it out to everybody. Then we can think about if and how we would want to pursue that. So, what?
In 2017.
2017 she did it?
Yeah.
2018. Well, everything final was.
2018.
Yes,
Her
it's
final, I have it right.
So you guys have her final
I
report?
have it right.
Good,
yes,
great.
please.
Can you send it to me and, yeah, that'd be great. Okay, and then I'll send it to everybody. Okay,
Well, she could send
yeah,
it.
you can send it to everybody, that's fine. Okay, so, really kind of the last topic for the evening. But after that, I'd like to open it up to see if these guys have any questions or thoughts or whatever. But, so we've discussed historic districts at many different meetings over the last few years. Sometimes we don't discuss it, sometimes we do discuss it. We don't have a historic district in Littleton. Not, you know, many towns have several historic districts. We have 0. We'd like to have some. There's some challenges, which, if you're open to it, we'll talk about some of the challenges. And I know you have some experience, right?
Oh, look, I worked at, it's very unique in Lexington because there's the Historical Society when I worked there. There's a Historical Society, they have a Historic Districts Commission
Right.
and a Historical Commission, and they
Yeah.
all do different
Yes.
overlapping things.
Right.
Where is this?
In Lexington.
Let's,
That's very confusing. So,
So we
I've
would
worked with
we would
all of
have that
them.
same structure here if
Yeah.
we set up historic districts. By law, Massachusetts, you have to have a historical district
Mhm.
commission, so we would set that up, or not we, but the town would
Sure.
set that up. So we would have all those 3 entities as well here if we were to pursue it. So some of the issues in town about historic districts is that there are some really, a lot of nice old historic buildings in town, but they're kind of dispersed throughout town. Foster Street is one area that has really nice old historic homes. So that's one possibility, which we'll talk about challenges that have come up more recently about that. So that's one challenge, that it's sort of dispersed all over,
oh, of course, you could follow the example of Somerville,
which
which
is,
they have I
yes,
think that all their historic districts are individual properties.
oh, wow.
which is allowed by the state. You can do that.
They have individual property historic districts and they have lots and lots of them. And I believe that in Somerville, that's the situation.
Well, that is one model that if we decided we could follow that because of the situation in Littleton, we could do individual ones. It just takes more time, I think, but to do each individual building, but. So some other issues which these people know more about than I do is insurance has come up. Did that come up in Lexington? homeowners insurance.
Not that I'm aware of, but maybe, I'm sure it probably has, but nothing that I've been involved in.
Does someone want to comment on that?
Well, it's a complicated issue because it doesn't specifically relate to districts. Or it maybe does relate to districts, because there's been a bunch of discussion recently on the Mass Historical Commission discussion list. Remember those old things, discussion lists, what they used to, when computers first came out, they still have them, and the Mass Historical Commission has one, and people have raised this question that insurance rates, either insurance rates are higher, or people are denied denied insurance by some companies if their houses are deemed to be historic. Now, there are lots of different ways that they can be deemed historic. So some people say, well, we don't want to have a historic district because then we won't get insurance, or because our rates will be raised. But my rate was raised without a historic district. No, wasn't that my rate was raised. It was that one of the companies, the company that we had insurance with before, denied our application the next year because we were in Macris. And of course there, the horse is already, the horse is already gone. You can't close the barn door anymore because we have, as Linda said, we have hundreds of properties in town that are.
I think that should be illegal that insurance companies do that, but I guess it's legal.
Insurance companies really can do whatever they want. They can deny, in some other places, there are all kinds of reasons for denying. Or I guess the other thing they can do is raise rates very considerably. Now, I don't know whether my rate was raised or not when I got the next, when I did get insurance, but I guess that is an issue, and some people have mentioned that. So that's an objection to,
And then was there another issue with someone that on
There's
Foster
somebody else on
Street?
Foster Street who they got dropped by their insurance as well. For not the same reason, and everyone seems to have found new coverage, but that's still concerning, and it's a process, and it's an uncomfortable situation to be in. So, that is something to be aware of, that some of the homeowners may, like, if we were to pursue Foster Street, which is what we've talked about, that could be a pushback from the residents there. So we obviously been discussing this for quite a while. The next steps for getting a historic district is also, it doesn't really come from us. Somebody has to go to the select board. They will make a working group that will do, a survey, and they'll evaluate it. This whole topic has been bandied about by us for years now at this point. Somebody just has to take this back.
and somebody, namely me, said that they would start pursuing this, and I haven't.
Well, you did start pursuing it, which is the two of you found this insurance issue. So we kind of thought, ooh, that's.
Yeah,
not good.
that's one potential, like, where people may or may not be upset. However, obviously, a working group would find maybe more positives, or more, who knows?
So what was your experience working in Lexington did you work with the historic district commission and?
Mostly so I'm an archivist, so I mostly did research for people who this is interesting because most people that I've interacted with have wanted their house to have the marker or be part of the historic district or whatever. It's just kind of something that they can say, look at my house. So I worked with people to research their houses in many cases and use these resources to, people were, they wanted to see what their gardens looked like back in the day so that they could recreate them, or what did the historic front door look like, or something like that. So that was primarily my interaction with the historical commission and the historic district commission, was to do research on houses and use these resources to that, if that makes sense. So it's interesting. It makes sense sort of with the insurance, but that never came up. It was usually people trying to get the designation. I was like, that's not my job.
Right.
I think it's a recent development.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. It maybe within the past 10 years or so that,
Okay.
that this has been a problem. And again, I happen to know someone who lives on Foster Street, so I casually mentioned, you know, what their take on it would be, and that's when they were like, well, this happened, so like, it wasn't necessarily a pro or for, it was just like, this happened, so like,
Factual.
yeah, you know, that's a concern. Whether or not it would, and that was specifically for this one example. The company said, oh, we have a plaque, so you're in a historic district. And they showed, no, we're not, because there are no historic districts in Littleton. And the company basically was like, it doesn't matter, you have a plaque anyway. So even this, so it was cited
Just
as.
as they had a plaque. I heard it's
But
crazy
and
to
I
me.
think that it came about because it was like, well, and their initial was like, they were cited as being a historic district, even though they're not, and they proved it to the company. But the company said, like, it didn't matter to them regardless, they said no. So I think it was then, if they were actually to be in a legitimate historic district, would that then make their new, you know, like, would this be like, as ripple, like, everyone just lose their insurance on that road and, you know, this whole thing?
Well, again, my company said, you're a historic home because you're in Macris. And they did specifically reference Macris, actually sent me the form.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't need it, but they,
Yeah.
you know, to prove it, they sent it to me, just.
There was some discussion of this on the Mass listserv.
Just recently,
Yeah.
the Mass Historical Commission listserv has people have raised it from being in historic districts, have said that they've been either denied insurance or their insurance rates have gone up. And there were various people who said, yeah, that happened to me too, and you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, I sent in something, so yeah, it happened to.
yeah, so it definitely seems to be a
Is
thing.
it just because the houses are grandfathered in, so they're not up to code, or is it, what's the basis behind that?
Well, one woman had and I don't know if it was true or not, but she was saying that a lot of times insurance companies, because they replace your house, like if your house burns down, you're replacing it in kind. So they think that it has to be replaced with 18th century wood. And she said, that's not the way, you wouldn't do that, obviously, but she said that, I don't know if it was just one company or that's what she'd heard, that that's how they figure it out. So they're like, well, we could never get that done. So they say, well, we won't, but again, that's what they were trying to get across was this is not correct. And they were trying to, that conversation kind of petered out.
This is on the listserv.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it
You know who
was
this
discussion,
person was, who said that's, they don't have to do that?
there was a
Like, what was
discussion,
her role?
there was a,
You don't know, okay.
was an inspection there.
Yeah.
Just recently, a few weeks ago, you know, a bunch of people contributed to it. This is the typical kind of thing where a bunch of people contribute to the discussion and then it's sort of.
It's some, you know, whether it's like the big box insurance companies, and I don't know if that was ever discussed in the online discussion. I do believe that the person I spoke to, it was progressive, so, you know, it's a bigger, like, so whether or not it, like, smaller, local, you know, Massachusetts-based,
Yeah.
if they're any different, or like, it's, you know, but then obviously it's still going to be more expensive if it's like, you have an expensive old home that you're gonna have to pay a lot to replace thing, you know, like, and maintain it and keep it up, and then your insurance is, like, I do understand the cost factor for a lot of individuals, so I think the thing is that this is not really a topic for us to sort out, this is a topic for the group that is selected by the select board to find out. And that
Right.
is the next step.
But some of us might be on that part of that, who knows? But I think we kind of want, when we were thinking about Foster Street, we were thinking of maybe approaching some people, which you did talk to the person you knew and you were
I've
right
talked to a
there.
few people.
Right. And then we got this feedback, which kind of, we pulled back a little bit from pursuing historic districts because there's this challenge. And I don't know what, you know.
Well, also because some of us have been preoccupied with other
Sure.
things, maybe.
Right, of course. What I'm thinking, I don't know, one avenue is to talk to Mass Historical Commission about this and see what input they've had and what they suggest. about pursuing historic districts given this insurance issue.
That's for the working group. That is.
I think what you're gonna have to do is, when you go to the select board to create this working group, they're gonna look to you guys, why should we do
Right.
it, what is it?
Right.
So I think you're gonna have to have a little background, and if we
I think
don't,
we can give the pros and cons, like, we would
Yeah.
like it because, yes, and we can cite the report and say, look, this, we got this report and blah, blah, blah.
It's
But
also in the
if you-
master plan, by the way.
Great. I think we could, and again, it doesn't have to come from us, this group, yes, they may call upon us,
Yeah.
say, do you have some input? But the group is not, the historic commission is not the one to bring it to the select board. And then, yes, we may give an opinion, that's fine. But doing this research is for the group that is assigned by the select.
I mean, I agree and I don't agree, because we as the historical commission would, if we decide, we would like this to happen. Historic districts, so we wanna help have it happen instead of fail again. It failed 30 years ago or something. Because you needed 2/3 majority. They got a majority, half, 50%, they didn't get 2/3. So I think it's valid for us to do some of this research and bring up some of these issues and try to resolve some of these issues. Even before there's a commission or before we approach a select board or whoever approaches the select board. I definitely see it both ways.
We've been talking, this has been on our agenda for 3
I
years.
know, I know.
well, I think too, you'd have to decide, if you guys don't wanna do it and you're not behind it, why bother?
Right. No, I think that's true.
If we
If
don't have the
And
energy,
whoever's on that commission, if they come to us and we say, well, we don't know if we really want to pursue this, we don't want to be involved. That's gonna fall, I think that might all fall apart.
I just really want it off the agenda. I'm tired of talking about it. We say the same thing every meeting.
Well, the reason I brought up is,
No,
we have two new members tonight. I wanted to,
But also, we need to. We need to.
well, we also need to figure out a way forward. This insurance issue has been a snag.
It is a topic, it is a pro, it is a con, it's something, and again, there will be others, and that is for the group to find out the others and make that, when they do their research, and then they actually bring that to the select board to say, yes, we should move forward with it and put it on the,
And don't you think they're gonna come to this commission and ask our opinions?
yes, and we can still work with the working group, but the working group has to be made.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have a difference of opinion about how to pursue this, but that's okay. All right, and the other thing I'm thinking of doing is calling other towns, like calling Acton and seeing how they've dealt with this. Has this issue of insurance come up in Acton or maybe some other towns? And if it has, how do they deal with it? They have tons of historic districts. So I think I will do that. So on that note, do you guys have any questions or thoughts or about what we do or
Or what you would like
what
to
you would
do?
like us to do? Yeah, what you would like to do.
What you would like to, do you have any particular thoughts about what you would like to do as members of this?
My only question for the historic plaques or signs or whatever on the houses, is that typically something that you determine based on surveys that you do? You kind of reach out to the houses and say, we think you should have one, and they have to accept? Or is it something that they come to you and say, hey, I want this on my house and I think I have the basis to do so?
It's the second.
Okay.
The second, at various times, we have sent around a list, we have sent around a letter to all the historic homeowners saying, are you interested, let us know, but we don't do that.
Gotcha. So your job isn't like seeking out houses.
No.
They requested
Yeah.
from you.
There's a place on the website which has to be updated because it's based on our old sign maker who is now deceased and used to charge much less than we're gonna be charging now. The homeowners paid for it.
The only exception to that the homeowners initiated is, at this point, is 12 Robinson Road. And that's because it was bought with CPC funds, there's a preservation restriction in place.
Mhm.
In the preservation restriction, it says that this commission will be placing a house sign on that house. So that's the one exception. Any other questions or thoughts, or what would you like to do? What would you like the commission to do?
My thought was, go back to that insurance thing, is just, yeah, I think reaching out to some other commissions would probably, they all have to have seen this and had experience with it and maybe have their own. Have gone down that road a little bit, but, that was my good thought.
Anything else?
Can I have a public input?
Your public input.
I don't know if you've heard, but, it's 359 King Street. If you're looking at where Badger's funeral home is, right up here, then next to it is a little duplex, a little funky duplex. And then the next house to it, it was yellow, now it's kind of a gray. It was 359 King Street. There was a farm in there recently. The gentleman who then lives next door to it had bought that house. That's a historic home. And we've heard that he's going to build condos in the back.
In the back.
Well, supposedly in the back. It hasn't even come to planning board yet. We haven't heard anything more than this, but it's a big piece of property, but right behind the house, it dips down. I mean, it's quite a ways, and then it kind of levels and then it goes up, but it's very wet in the back. So we're trying to figure out, first we heard 4 condos, now there might be 2, so how he fits them in there in the wet and in the dip.
It may not get approved.
It may not get approved, but we don't know about the house. Now, he restored his historic home next door, so I cannot believe that he would tear down the historic house that's there, but you never know. So again, I haven't seen anything come through the planning board yet. The girls that were in there for Farm 359 were leasing it from him and they've been evicted and are going elsewhere. That's how we found out about it. So just put it on our radar just in case something comes up.
359.
359.
Okay. I could also let the building commissioner know that, keep it on his radar too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I just can't believe that he would tear it down, but you never know.
Anything else?
It's in the back, it wouldn't, I mean,
Yeah, it's in the
If it's
back.
in the back,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal, but there's not a lot, this has got to put driveways or something in, because it's got the nice barn attached and. But it may be okay, but we'll just.
yeah.
Anything else? Okay, I don't have a motion.
I will be adjourned.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned.
And the next meeting,
Oh, yeah, next meeting.
Oh.
We usually meet the second Wednesday of every month. So that's, I believe it's September 10th. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, is that okay with everyone, that meeting date? Yes, okay. All right, great. Well, thank you. I'm going to adjourn the meeting now.